Alright, we're back out on the road. Darn, I just realized I forgot something at home. I guess speaking of which, how many of you carry while you ride? That's a hot topic, isn't it? Multiple forums, I'm sure we've all seen them. People discussing how do you carry. And I carry concealed. I don't carry it open. I'm not against open carry. I like to demonstrate that constitutional right, but it comes with some dangers. And there have been, if you're going to open carry, make sure you got a retention holster. I've got one of the thumb activated ones. But it becomes a theft target, right? Removes the element of surprise a little bit if somebody obviously sees it, but it's also a conversation starter. And I think sometimes it's good for people who know you but didn't know that part to realize what gun owners look like. They're in all demographics and types. I'm probably in the stereotypical group, but it's good to see others. Women and minorities are coming on strong, mainly because police can't do their jobs because they've been defunded, or blue state officials don't enforce the law while saying they need more laws against guns that they don't enforce. But anyhow, I realized when I was doing a quick change to get out of the house, I left something at home. Now, one of the things that I've wondered about carrying while riding is not something I've practiced enough with. Well, I guess I could say I have, but let's see, did that car really need to go? There's nobody behind me, and they're going to pull out and proceed talking on the damn phone, right? Some woman talking on the phone. Anyhow, the thing I was going to say about carrying the firearm is pulling it out of where you keep it, wearing riding gloves. I shoot sometimes wearing gloves. Most of the time I don't, but I have a few guns where I like to wear gloves, but they're my shooting gloves, and I don't do it from a retention draw. And you know, if you ever need it, just having it on you is not enough. You got to be able to get to it quickly when you need it, and it's a weak point for me that you know, the way I'm currently situated, I would need to probably, you know, you'd love to say you could pull it with these gloves on or any gloves on, but the reality is a lot of these holsters aren't made for that. A lot of positions where how you're carrying, it might help to free up the hand. And I know that's going to probably spark a lot of conversation. I know it does on the forums. Every time I've seen the forums, it just goes on and on. But everybody's got an opinion. And of course, one at home doesn't do anybody any good, except the people at home. Rule number one in a gunfight: bring your gun. And man, I'm mad at myself. I've seen these folks that say you shouldn't have gun mentions on your vehicle as it makes it a theft target. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not leaving my guns in any vehicle. I've never done that. It's never happened. So I do tend to have a mentioning of gun-related things on license plates and bumper stickers. I lived out in Arizona at one point, and back then they had this law that was baked into their regulations or laws or something, that the public facility could not ban guns. No, what it was, they could ban guns, but if they did, they had to secure the firearm for the owner. And I was going into the library where I lived in Arizona, And I go and I see a sign that says, "No guns allowed," parentheses, "to secure the firearm, call the Scottsdale Police Department at this." I'm going in and the sign, it says "No guns allowed," and it has underneath it says, "To secure your firearm, call the police department at this number." I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes. So I called them and I said, "I'm calling because I have a firearm. I want to go into this library. I have a firearm. It says called secure." And they asked me, "Did you drive to the library?" I knew where this was going. I said, "Yes." "I'll just leave it in your car." I said, "Negative. I'm not doing that." "Well, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine." That's what the police department told me. And I said, "Well, the sign says to call this number for the police to secure the firearm. I don't feel comfortable leaving it in the vehicle, and that you're supposed to take and secure the firearm while I'm visiting the public building. And if you don't care to do that, then I'm free to enter." That was how the law was written. They refused to come out. And I said, "Well, I'm going in then because you're not securing the firearm." And he told me, "We are securing it. We're telling you to leave it in your car." And I'm like, "No, then that's me securing it, and that's not secure." Anyhow, we had this standoff, and I ended up writing a letter to the editor to the Arizona paper there, and it ended up getting the attention of some legislator, and the NRA got involved, and it's been a number of years. Now, I'm a little rusty on the outcome of that. Unfortunately, I think the outcome was they added lockers at the library where you have to check in and put your gun to secure it if you're visiting the library. Now, isn't that stupid? Like every criminal, oh gee, I was hell-bent on some carnage today. I was going to commit mass murder, but you got to be quiet in the library, and I didn't bring my silencer, and no guns are allowed anyway. So I guess I'll check it at the locker today. It's just, it defies common sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. This sort of feel-good, emotional legislation. And, things may have changed since I've been out there. It's been a long time. That was probably BC, before children. So we're talking 18 plus years ago. It's just disappointing to see criminals treated with more respect than the rest of us. Because the criminal will, they have all these gun laws to enforce and they don't enforce them. They beg for more regulation, more laws, and then they don't enforce them. The way to get crime to drop is to enforce the law. If you guys aren't familiar with Project Exile that was here in Richmond for a while, you should look that up and look at the results. They enforce the mandatory minimums, and the criminals are not unaware when the laws are enforced and when they're not. And evidence of the not is all the shoplifting and everything else going on right now. And the same was true with it was being enforced in Richmond with Project Exile. Why did they stop? Why do they stop enforcing? Well, we all know part of the answers. And it's a shame they don't enforce the laws they've asked for, and because crime went down during those years. Well, hopefully the political views don't cause people to turn off, but it's part of who I am and what I believe. And I guess if you don't want to hear it, you can turn it off, but I'm not going to filter it, but I'm not going to try to overdo it either. So that left turn I made to get onto this road, I know you guys have heard me talk about this, and those turns are actually probably one of the toughest things. I still don't feel comfortable with when to hit the gas. Maybe I'll replay the turn because it was a while back, but you know, when to hit the gas, where to have the clutch. I've mentioned I took the Ride Like a Pro course in my area, and I didn't click with that course. Small class, nice people, but I wish I would have recorded some of it. I don't even know if they allow that. They probably do. It's good marketing for them generally, but I just didn't click with their type of instruction. And maybe with more experience I'll go back again. I know I need to practice more on my own, but I've mentioned before I need to know what to practice correctly. And I know Motorman talks about clutch, brake, turn your head. But yeah, those short turns like that is where I feel the weakest. That, and I could definitely get better at curves and being more confident. Like right here, like these curves, I'm sure people that are great riders would have a field day with these curves, and I tend to take them, I feel, slow. I'm going about 40 through there, and I don't know how much you guys lean on curves like that, but I feel like I'm lacking some confidence, even though, you know, I'm a couple years into it. Like right here, you know, how much to lean and how to handle it. That's probably the thing I watch the most videos about and try to, I mean, I've gotten better, no doubt, because I was really bad in the beginning, but I feel it's an area where I could keep improving. What did you think of that turn? Those are the ones, that one felt a little better, but I still struggled with exactly, if I had to say what I was doing versus what I should be doing, that's where I struggle. Like I've been told not to coast through turns, but I found myself with the clutch in and releasing the clutch and applying the gas as I go through.